Alright, let's talk about Encanto. The Disney movie that tricked us all into thinking it was just a fun, colorful, feel-good film when in reality it's a psychological horror story about generational trauma, identity loss, and the making of a devouring mother archetype. Yeah, we are going there. On the surface, Encanto is about a magic family with extraordinary gifts, but underneath it all, yeah, it's a story about how loss creates control, how control destroys individuality, and how breaking free from toxic expectations doesn't just heal you, heals everyone. So today we're breaking down why Abuela is the perfect example of the devouring mother archetype, why Mirabel's lack of a gift is actually the most powerful role in the family, and how the entire Madrigal system was bound to collapse the second someone questioned it. And of course, as you might expect, I'll be throwing in a little psychological insight, a little sass, and maybe a few reasons why Bruno deserved better, because let's be very for fucking real, he did. So buckle up, grab a snack, and if you love deep dives analysis like this one, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube, and let's get into Encanto.
When my 3 babies had just been born, your abuelo Pedro and I were forced to flee our home.
I wonder why.
And your abuelo was lost. But in our darkest moment, we were given a miracle.
I mean,
the candle became a magical flame that could never go out.
The candle they already had
with a
transformed.
refuge in which to live.
Interesting. Alright, so Abuela's story starts like every classic trauma-driven origin story. A young woman loses everything, and in the wreckage of her grief, boom, magic candle. But let's break this down. This miracle isn't just a miracle. It's a coping mechanism in disguise. The moment she loses her husband, the moment she's at her most powerless, this glowing, never-ending flame appears, granting her the ultimate control. Or illusion of it? Well, we'll see about that, won't we? And what does that miracle do? It builds walls, literal towering mountains that lock the family into a safe, contained world where nothing can go wrong because nothing can never enter. And then we get to the gifts, which at first seem like the fun part, right? Who wouldn't want superpowers? But here's the twist. These gifts aren't for them. No one gets to use their powers for personal joy or self-expression. Each gift is assigned like a job title, basically. You heal, you carry, you make sure it never rains on laundry day. Each family member is essentially a cog in the machine, handpicked for their usefulness to the system. Now, this is where intergenerational survival trauma sneaks in, because Abuela isn't just building a home. She's building a self-sustaining order where no one is allowed to fail, where everyone must perform, where the miracle must stay alive at all costs. Does that sound like control to you? Well, kinda, because, you know, it's mostly survival, but the control is still there. Here's the problem with systems like these, though. They always break. What starts as protection becomes rigid. What starts as structure becomes suffocating. It's like a family business where you don't get to choose your role, you're just born into it. And while it may have been necessary at first, with time, the pressure to keep the miracle alive starts crushing the very people it was meant to help. Because that's the dark truth about legacy systems. They were built to fix a past wound, but they can't adapt to a new reality where that wound is healed. Now, Mirabel's introduction to the family isn't just a catchy song, it's a PR campaign for the Madrigal brand. From the jump, we see that individual identity is secondary to the collective image. When the kids ask about her gift, she immediately redirects to, oh, no, it's not about me. I cannot talk about me. It's about us. She's not Mirabel. She's a Madrigal. And that's the core of how this family functions. They aren't individuals. They're pieces of a system, and that system has a CEO. Because let's be clear, Abuela runs this show. There it is. Abuela is the reason they exist in their current form. The system is hers. The gifts are because of her. The miracle is because of her. And because of that, everyone is indebted to her. And this is where it gets psychologically juicy. What Abuela has created is depth-based family structure, a dynamic often seen in intergenerational trauma cycles. It's the unspoken rule that says, you exist because of my sacrifice, so now you owe me. But the tricky part is that that's both true and untrue at the same time. It's true in the sense that, yes, without Abuela's resilience and leadership, the family wouldn't have survived. But it's also completely false, because the miracle didn't come from her. It didn't ask her permission. And more importantly, once the gift was given, it wasn't hers to own. She doesn't decide the rules. In fact, the gift is the one that decides the rules. And that's where the subtle power imbalance comes in. If the family owes everything to Abuela, then what happens when someone doesn't fit? When someone can't pay back a gift she never received? That's when we start to see the cracks in the system.
Might be a Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. They say he saw the future. One day he disappeared.
So this is where the mask slips. Up until now, we've been fed the perfect Madrigal brand message. Family is everything, the system is everything, and together they're unstoppable. But then, mid-song, we casually drop Bruno, the guy who straight up vanished, and keep it moving like he's an embarrassing uncle no one wants to really acknowledge. This is textbook dysfunctional family dynamics. When a family builds its identity around being perfect, any crack in that perfection is treated as a threat, not a problem to be solved. So of course they choose to completely erase him, because if we don't talk about it, it's like it never happened, said every dysfunctional family ever. But what makes this whole thing even darker is that no one even mourns him. There's no we miss him, there's no I wonder if he's okay, just a casual oh yeah, we don't talk about Bruno, which is psychological warfare 101, okay? Because here's the thing, when a system depends on collective buy-in, anyone who questions the system must be removed. Is that what happened to him? We have no idea. And that's the irony of it all. They claim family is everything, but what they really mean is family is everything as long as you play by the rules.
She was about to tell us about her super awesome gift! Oh, Mirabel didn't get one.
Und
Gift ceremony
please,
was a bummer. Last one being yours, that did not work.
oh my god, I want to hide behind this mic.
Really sad.
Yeah.
Well, my little friend, I am not.
Well, you're delusional. Ooh, this is juicy. Mirabel is the textbook orphan hero, but not in the literal lost and alone sense. We're talking psychological orphaning. She's been raised inside the system, but she's not truly part of it, you see. Unlike the rest of her family who are defined by their usefulness, Mirabel is a glitch in the matrix. A child who, by her very existence, is a reminder that the system isn't perfect. And in a family where belonging is conditional, that's a serious problem. Her body language says it all. Dodging questions, deflecting, performing toxic positivity by insisting she's totally fine. Oh yeah, I'm super special just like everyone else. Like, girl, no. This is straight up cognitive dissonance in action. Her words and her emotions don't match, because admitting she feels unworthy would mean confronting the horrifying possibility that she actually is expendable in this system. And if we zoom out, Mirabel's archetype makes way too much sense when we place her against the devouring mother one. When a system is designed to consume its children, what happens when one child fails to be digestible? Mirabel is the one kid who can't be used to sustain the family structure, so instead of being useful, she's invisible. She doesn't just lack a gift, she lacks a function. And here's where it gets wild. The orphan-hero archetype exists to fix the system. Mirabel was never meant to fit into the old structure. She was meant to expose the cracks, burn it down, and build something new. But in order to do that, she has to come to terms with the brutal truth first. Her family loves her, sure, but do they value her? That's a much harder question to answer.
A little sisterly advice. If you weren't always trying too hard, you wouldn't be in the way.
She's absolutely right, by the way.
Helping. And I'm not in
You're
the
not
way,
helping.
but you.
Yeah. Okay, we need to pause here for a second, because what Isabella says is so deep. At first glance, it sounds like she's just being cruel, like she's telling Mirabel to stop trying so hard, just stay out of the way. But what she's really pointing to is Mirabel's struggle with self-acceptance. Mirabel refuses to accept the role the family has assigned her, the one without a gift, the one who should just cheer from the sidelines. But instead of defining her own role, she's trying to match the family's expectations with no tools to actually succeed in their system. That's the tragedy here, because she does have gifts: kindness, courage, intelligence, resilience, bravery, but those don't count in a family where worth is measured by usefulness in a very specific way, through magic. Isabella is basically saying, you wouldn't feel like you're in the way if you stopped trying to be like us and found your own lane. And while that's true, it completely ignores the reality that the family has never given Mirabel the space to find her own way. They don't even talk about individuality very often. It's all about the family. Because what is she supposed to do? Just sit back and accept that she'll never be seen as important? Just accept that her presence will always be secondary? Acceptance is part of the answer, but not in the way Isabella frames it. Mirabel doesn't need to accept being less. She needs to stop looking for permission to be more. Because the real problem isn't her lack of a gift here, it's the family's inability to see value beyond magic.
Mi vida, you okay?
You don't have to overdo it.
Are you serious?
I just want to do my part like the rest of the family.
Yeah, maybe your part is different. Family doesn't really help. You see
I
how
gotta
that
put out the stuff.
works?
The house isn't gonna decorate itself.
I mean, you have...
Sorry.
Yeah, literally, Casita is gonna decorate itself.
Yeah, remember.
This is how useless she is, you see, even the house. You keep lying to your daughter like that. I don't think so. She does have things to prove, and ooh, this makes me unreasonably mad, but hey. Mirabel is bending over backwards trying to prove she belongs because, let's be real, this family doesn't operate on unconditional love. It operates on conditional usefulness, and she knows it. Everyone knows it. But instead of acknowledging that truth, her parents hit her with the classic toxic reassurance. Oh, sweetie, you have nothing to prove. Excuse me, nothing to prove? Are we watching the same movie? Because everything in this household is about proving your worth. This is an unspoken social contract, and Mirabel's the only one who wasn't given a way to sign it. The truth is, her value has been questioned from the very second she didn't get a gift, and pretending otherwise is gaslighting her reality. This is where we see a classic family system defense mechanism. When a child starts naming the dysfunction, the response is to deny and deflect rather than confront it. And what makes things quite heartbreaking is that Mirabel is being forced into double think. She's expected to both accept that she belongs and ignore all the evidence that she doesn't. And that's exhausting and confusing. But here's the psychological gut punch of it all. This whole system used to work. Yes, Abuela's model of survival of conditional worth made sense when the family was still in crisis mode, trying to solidify their legacy, right? But here's the thing about legacy systems. If they don't evolve, and I don't just mean expand, they start decaying. The family has outgrown the original survival framework, but instead of adapting, they're clinging to the past. And Mirabel is the living proof that the system needs to change, and it will change with or without them. Notice her,
I
senpai.
know you want to help.
Yes.
But tonight must go perfectly. So the best way for some of us to help
Right?
is to step aside.
Oh boy. But you're just as special. Oh, this is such a chilling moment because Abuela isn't trying to be mean here. She's just deeply entrenched in survival mode, and survival mode doesn't have time for feelings.